Hello, everyone. So this story is going around the news sources, and there's something else going on at the same time. The top United Nations court had ordered Israel to halt its military operations in the southern Gaza city of Rafah, saying that what Israel doing is genocide. Now, I'm not going to debate the point now. I have my own opinion on the subject. That's beside the point. But what I do want to ask the UN and UN's court is, why are they not extending this motion toward Russia, who has been conducting acts of genocide in Ukraine for the last 2 years? And now they're saying, if Ukraine wants to not have its civilians murdered anymore, they need to surrender 20%, 18% of its territory to Russia. That's the condition for stopping the war at this point. So not leave Ukrainian territory, which is what they should do, but no. They want this to be the new border where they are right now. So imagine somebody barging into your house, beating you up, raping your wife, murdering your children, and then saying, oh, by the way, I'll be keeping a portion of your house. And you know that it's not going to be just a portion eventually. You know, if you agree to that now, they're just going to keep beating you up later until they have the whole house. This is what Putin is doing. And he is not getting any kind of censure from anybody. Yeah, sure, there is a warrant for his arrest with the International Criminal Court, but as long as he doesn't go to the countries that obey the International Criminal Court, there's nothing that can be done to him. And what is alarming is how many countries are maintaining that this is a good idea. And again, I invite everybody, literally everybody, anywhere in the world, to consider what they would do if somebody came into their country and pounded their civilians and wanted to keep some of the territory. And then we'll talk. Talking about genocide. If you look up the definition of genocide, there's multiple points to the definition, and this is one of them. Actually, this covers two. One is making the territory where people are residing unlivable, which Russians have done. And second, murdering or kidnapping children from the country being invaded. So this speaks to the second point particularly well. There have been a lot of questions in reference to the shelling of cities, and not just Kharkiv, but other cities as well, Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporizhia, Donetsk, and so on and so forth. The questions have been, why don't people just leave? This is why. They're not allowed, because the Russian military wants those civilians to stay where they are so that they could use them as human shields. Does that remind you of somebody? Hint, Hamas. So, in this particular case, as the effort was underway to evacuate children from the Kharkiv region, they hit the railroad tracks, so that now the children cannot be evacuated by train. And considering the state of the roads and just the danger of traveling by car in wartime conditions, I don't know if they can be evacuated by bus or by truck. Where is the UN court now? Where is this being addressed? And then there is more. 7 more civilians were killed in Kharkiv region during yet another missile attack. So this was early Thursday. And again, they pick the time of attack, usually at night or like early in the morning. I have been asking my parents about this, and that is consistent. So when people are more likely to be at home from work or on the road, and then come the attacks. Again, where are the international courts? Where is the outrage? Now, this is interesting. Considering Orban is a big fan of Putin and close friend of his, if people like that can have friends, I would take his words with a big grain of salt. So Orban is using the logic that the West, including Europe and the US, should really not take any precautionary measures against Russia. And that, of course, includes sanctions, includes helping Ukraine, etc., etc. Because, he argues, well, look at Russia, they can't even invade Ukraine. Notice, he doesn't think invading Ukraine is a bad idea. He's just saying Russia is lagging behind a little bit in that area. So they can't even invade Ukraine. So, you know, surely they can't invade the rest. Maybe not. However, what they can do is interfere with various points of operation in Europe and in the United States. We have a well-documented record of Russia's cyber attacks. We have a documented record of Russia interfering in elections. We have a record of Russia interfering with internet. Incidentally, they're also interfering with Starlink in Ukraine. So, I think Orban just should shut up. Because what he is hoping for, and there's no doubt in my mind that that's what he's hoping for, that everybody will just forget about this and let down their guard and let Russia do whatever. And that is beneficial to him. Meanwhile, G7 finance ministers are meeting in Italy, and Ukraine is high on the agenda because Ukraine is affecting the economic and financial makeup of the world. So they're trying to figure out what to do. Again, I think one of the most straightforward things is use the frozen Russian assets to help Ukraine. There are some all over the world. Russians were very good at stashing money everywhere. So just use it. You know, that way there's no skin off your back. Case in point, there's an additional, some additional money coming in artillery and ammunitions, which is desperately needed. So, this is not on top of the package that's been passed. This is part of that package. So this is an installment of the money that has been approved by Congress. So I don't want anybody to get confused and get panicky and say, oh my God, how much more? No, this is all part of the same sum of money. So don't freak out. And by the way, you know, if you don't want to use your taxpayer money to fight Putin, again, encourage the lawmakers to use the frozen assets, because that's not American money, that's Russian money. And some of it is already working. As we said before many times in my reports, in the reports of other analysts, Ukraine has gotten extremely good at doing more with less. And so that's exactly what we're seeing now. The ground offensive by Russia in the Kharkiv region has been stopped. They're holding the line. They were able to start a counteroffensive, which is a good thing. This is all they ever wanted. They wanted to have something to fight with, and now that they do have that, they can do it. So, just give Ukraine what it needs to defeat Russia. The whole world will be better for it.